right, guys, welcome back to another video. As usual, we do have a lot to talk about today. Starting off here with, I think, one of the biggest day one releases on Xbox Game Pass this year, and that is Lies of P, a Dark Souls style of game. And I think it's even more popular now than if this would have released a couple of years ago because of Elden Ring, which got a lot of people into this genre and this style of game. So this game, a lot of people are looking forward to. It has the mixture of the Souls-like gameplay as well as Pinocchio. It just looks really cool. The demo is currently out, and you can go and check out that demo if you haven't yet. If you like these styles of games, I think you will enjoy what you play. But when it comes to Lies of P and the development team behind this game, Round 8 Studios, they talked about working with Xbox, and they talked about this game coming to Xbox Game Pass, and they're very excited for the prospect of it. So they spoke here, and it was the project director, Ji-won Choi. Not sure if I said his name right, but here's what he says about Xbox Game Pass. Collaborating with Xbox has been an incredibly supportive and rewarding journey for us. Having your game launch on a platform with a massive global subscriber base is a thrilling opportunity. We understand this platform offers a tremendous reach, enabling us to engage with a wide and diverse audience of players from around the world. And I think for lots of studio directors and project directors and publishers and devs out there, when they think about Xbox Game Pass, the biggest advantage by putting their game into a day one is just the amount of people that are going to be able to see this and have the opportunity to actually download and play the game. We know the stats of Game Pass. We know that more people have played games they've never checked out before because of the service, played genres they've never checked out before because of the service. We also know that the monthly active users was higher than it's been. I think up 22%. The engagement on Game Pass with monthly active users up 22% with their recent quarterly report. So it is continuously growing. People are spending more time in the Xbox Game Pass service, and launching a game day one that a lot of people are talking about. You'll probably have millions of people checking this game out. And you think about Exo Primal that just launched into Xbox Game Pass. That just hit 1 million players. This isn't a game that had the craziest marketing behind it. This isn't a game that got the best reviews in the world. But because it launched into Game Pass and it's a fun game, a lot of people checked it out. It hit 1 million players. And I think these types of things that we are seeing in terms of these statistics that do come out with these big third-party games, Xbox gets to use that stuff and go out there, present that to other big third-party developers, and try to get games launched into Game Pass day one. So we will see how good Lies of P does launching into Game Pass day one. I have a feeling it will do very well. We will see statistics about this game shortly after its release in terms of its success. And that will also, again, be used going forward for Xbox to try to get more third-party stuff. It's always something Xbox, I think, should continuously try to do. They have so many first-party studios right now, especially with Activision Blizzard going to becoming a part of the Xbox first-party family. They have to fill in some gaps here and there with other stuff to keep people excited about Game Pass, and that's where the third-party games come in. That's also where some big indie games come in, like a game like Sea of Stars that I think a lot of people are excited for, that is coming out, also launching into PS Plus day one. So that type of stuff is cool, and Lies of P, the studio here, is excited for this release coming out on September 19th. They do talk a little bit more about this game. If you do want to learn more, the link to the description or to this article will be in the description below for you to check out if you like to. Now, let's jump over here to the next thing I want to talk about. And that is another feature on Xbox, which is Ubisoft Plus. Ubisoft Plus is a subscription service. You get access to 60 plus games from Ubisoft. If you like Ubisoft games, it's actually a very good subscription service because you get the premium editions and you get to try out all the DLC and all that type of stuff. So it is a good deal for what you're paying if you really are a fan of those games. I believe it is like $16.99 a month or $17.99 a month, something like that. But they have an incredible deal right now, which is essentially copying the Xbox Game Pass deal that they always do, and that is the $1 deal that you can now sign up to Ubisoft Plus for 1 month for $1 and check out what they have in their catalog. I mean, for me, because I enjoy the Ubisoft games, it's worth it. If you don't enjoy their games, you probably won't want to play this, but you also get access to this new stuff coming out, like upcoming Prince of Persia and things like that. Although it still may not be around when that game does release, because this is only for the next 12 days, I feel like this is something they will continuously be doing here and there to try to increase the amount of subscribers, just like what Xbox Game Pass does. You subscribe, you see if the content is worth it for you. And for a lot of people, they probably do stay subscribed past that $1 deal, especially if they're playing a game they haven't beat yet. And maybe Xbox is here saying, hey, we will help you promote this thing. We will help subsidize Ubisoft Plus on Xbox and try to get people to pay the $1 to sign up to Ubisoft Plus. Now let's jump over here. Let's talk about Xbox Series sales in Japan. Now, I mean, these aren't crazy numbers, but it's a success. I think anytime we see an uptick of sales in Japan from Xbox, it is something that Xbox is happy about, because they've had a really hard time getting a foothold there, especially after the Xbox One generation. But the Xbox Series X and S consoles have now outsold the original Xbox in Japan at 473 and change units, 473,000 units, I should say, whereas the OG Xbox had about 472, teetering on the 473 mark, but they're about 500 or 600 ahead of the OG Xbox, and they're going to continue to grow there, which I think is a good thing. The real benchmark will be they be able to outsell the Xbox 360? And I think with a lot of the stuff Xbox has been doing, with Persona games coming in, announcing a brand new game from Atlas at the Xbox Showcase, and the Xbox Series S in general is a very attractive console in that region. I think they will come close to beating the Xbox 360. In fact, I think they will beat the Xbox 360. I think the chart right now is very, very close, and we will see at the end of this generation what happens. But I do believe this will be a better generation in Japan for Xbox overall in terms of console sales than 360. But there you go. I mean, Series X and S already beating it, spanning in 3 years, beating the entire life cycle of the OG Xbox. But let's continue talking about sales. Let's talk about the PlayStation 5. And this is a great number for PlayStation. They have done very well with the PlayStation 5, announcing that they have reached 40 million console sales. And here is what Jim Ryan says. With the support of PlayStation fans, we have reached a milestone of 40 million PS5 consoles sold through to gamers since launch. Thank you so much to our community of gamers. Without you, this would have been an impossible task. 40 million. That's a lot. That's a lot of sales in the first 3 years. And in fact, it is just slightly trending behind the PlayStation 4. It says, for comparison purposes, the PlayStation 4 reached the 40 million sales threshold 2 months sooner in its lifespan. But you have to keep in mind, this generation here, the supply issues at the beginning were far worse than the PlayStation 4. I mean, we're kind of just coming out of it now where you can go to a store and pick up a PS5 and have no issues trying to find one. The supply is now able to meet the demand. Now, 40 million sales in 3 years. One thing that this had me questioning right away when I saw this was, why in the world are we hearing about a PlayStation 5 Pro? It doesn't make any sense. People still clearly want the base PS5. They have no issue selling them through to customers. So why are they trying to rejuvenate the PlayStation 5 with a PlayStation 5 Pro and another SKU? And you would think that once the sales start to fall off a little bit, then they would announce a PS5 Pro to get people talking about it again. But that doesn't seem to be the case with the rumors we have seen. And if we look at the history of what PlayStation has done, it looks like they're literally following the blueprints of the PlayStation 4. We have this tweet here from Tom Henderson, who's the one who leaked the details about the PS5 Pro. But he says this: the PS4 hit 40 million units sold in May 2016. 6 months later, the PS4 Pro was released. And this is sounding exactly like what is going to happen with the PlayStation 5. We're hearing that it's going to be a November 2024 release. We will probably hear an announcement for the PS5 Pro sometime in the near future. And they are looking to release another SKU, more power, probably will cost more when the PS5 just hit 40 million units, and there is no signs that the sales of the PS5 is going to be slowing down. Really doesn't make sense, especially this generation where it doesn't really feel like we've utilized these consoles to the best that they can be utilized for. Like, doesn't really feel like we've really hit that next gen yet in terms of like the actual games, the graphics, and we're now getting back down to 30 FPS with some games. I would say the biggest jump so far this generation has been the loading times with the SSD. That's where things have really shot up compared to last gen. But I think for a lot of people, they still feel like we haven't even entered this generation and we're already hearing about a PS5 Pro. And obviously the answer there is Xbox going to counter the PlayStation 5 Pro? I think we don't need these Pro consoles, but if Xbox wants to keep that power narrative, if they even care anymore, they will have to counter it. And we'll see if that even is something that will happen, because the supply of the Xbox still is harder to come by compared to the PlayStation 5. They even said during the Activision Blizzard acquisition trial that they sacrificed the sale of consoles to prepare for the future with cloud gaming. So will they even want to put more resources into making an Xbox Series Pro? I will say this though, you can bet Xbox has a lot of stuff going on there, developing new consoles, whether that is a Pro version or preparing for the next generation of consoles. So they're going to make that decision. Do we come out here with a mid-gen refresh with more power, or do we just start the next gen early? Because I don't think they can be significantly behind the PlayStation 5 in terms of power, especially if things like Unreal Engine 5 are eating these consoles up, if they want to continue to really focus on the console side. So we'll see what happens. That is going to be super interesting, how the response is from Xbox if the PS5 Pro is true and it is announced. Now, in terms of the PlayStation consoles, we also have some more information here. Rumors, of course, take it with a grain of salt, about a smaller, cooler, less thermal PlayStation 5 model. This comes via Zubitech, and we don't know if this is referring to a slim PS5 or if this is referring to a Pro PS5, but it says here that according to Zubitech, the new model will feature a 5 nanometer APU compared to the 7 nanometer APU in the launch systems, and it'll feature no liquid metal. We've kind of seen some issues with the liquid metal, nothing widespread, but there have been actual issues of the liquid metal leaking down or whatever and affecting the console. We've seen the PS5 overheating with games like Final Fantasy 16. And they're probably trying to get rid of any of that type of stuff going forward. But a 5 nanometer APU means less energy consumption, less thermal output, smaller die sizes, and ultimately faster computing power, all of which will make it a more efficient console. And again, it says here, it's unclear if these improvements are for the new model set to likely replace the standard PS5, or if they are for the PS5 Pro. So this could be a new base PS5. This could potentially be a smaller PS5, a slimmer PS5, or a PS5 Pro. Now, it comes to the slim versions. I think it completely makes sense to release a slim version of the PS5. And even if Xbox can do it, to release a slim version of the Xbox, because you reduce the production cost, you make a sleeker looking console, you make more money on each console sold. That makes sense. But releasing a Pro console, well, they will probably be losing money right off the bat with it again, where when the supply is easily meeting the demand, that still to me just isn't completely computing. But it looks like, again, at the end of the day, these rumors are becoming more and more real, and that it will be happening, and it is going to be PlayStation triggering all of this mid-gen refresh stuff. But I will leave the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.